Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Spotlight. Today, I'm chatting with Shei Ascecio, experienced service learning coordinator, international school educator, and one of our amazing The Coach participants. Shei is so passionate about building a student-focused service learning program that once we began working together for The Coach, I knew I had to have her on the podcast to share her experiences. In many of our schools, we are striving to build a rich, robust, and student-driven service learning program, but it's not easy. In this Spotlight episode, we're focusing on how to build that student-focused service learning program. In the full-length episode, Shei also shares the challenges that schools face, why service learning is so important, and how you can measure the impact of your program. This episode is a masterclass in designing authentic service learning programs that put students at the center. To hear the full episode, subscribe to Coach Better wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is a great insight into the kinds of learning that happen within our online certificate programs. Eduro offers professional learning for educators at the intersection of technology, coaching, and leadership. Coattail, the coach, and women who lead will empower the relentless learner in you to embrace your inner leader and make a bigger impact in your school setting. Find out more at edurolearning.com. So I know at Angola, you have this amazing, really student-focused, student-driven, students at the center, students at the heart of your service learning community. How did you do it? How did you build that culture? What makes it special? And what can people learn from you? What are the replicable elements that people can learn from and apply in their setting?
Well, great question. I would say that there's really three main elements to service learning, and what I believe has ensured success here at LIS. One of it is the administrative side of it, where to me it's a bit of the boring side of it, but very necessary. And this is where you have to document students' work, make sure that you are in line with requirements, and in our case, we're an IB school, so that we're meeting, those requirements, that you're preparing timelines, running risk assessments, all those things of that nature, the admin side of it. And then you have the learning and teaching element, which is like the juicy part of service learning. And this is where you make strong connections to the curriculum, plan for authentic and meaningful opportunities for students to engage in service learning. And this is also an area where you can establish frameworks, approaches, key common understandings that are utilized across the school or within your section. And, depending on really how your school works. But for example, we use, Catherine Berger case, the 5 stages of service learning. So that is something that has been established and that is used across the secondary school. We use the MISO method of action research. So again, that's something that is explicitly taught in the secondary, and this is a transferable. These are transferable skills across the different subject areas. We embedded the sustainable goals for development. So having these key features of service learning established and well understood by the community, it's very important in the learning and teaching area. Here is also where a lot of the collaboration happens among students and teachers, which is really, really beautiful to see. This is where students identify within the curriculum, issues or needs that they can tackle and they can initiate, And finally, sustainability, which is a really big role, plays a really big role in this area. You want to have sustainable systems, but you also want to ensure that the projects or the initiatives that the students come up with are sustainable. And then the third element, I would say, that is the reciprocal partnerships and collaborations. And it's really networking, and it can come from both, the service learning coordinator or coach or whatever the system is within your school. But this is to me, like, this is a really, really fun area. I think that this is where you leave, that the walls of your school and engage directly with the community. And by doing this, you understand way more what are the issues that your community or country is facing, and how you can engage students with what is happening outside of school. An approach that I like to take is to start, it's like those circles, like ripple effect, like start small and then move to the larger areas. So start with your school, find out, like, many teachers, for example, here at LIS, they had another career before they were teachers. We have engineers, we have accountants, we have people that were working in economics. So find out what you have where you live, who's doing what, who is knowledgeable in this and that, your teachers, your teaching assistants, the people that work for the, administrative side of it, the parents. Oh, you get so much from parents. I mean, they are the ones, right? Like working out there in the real world. So find out what they can bring, what they can contribute with. And that's a partnership, that's a partnership on its own. And then move to the outer circles. What do you have in your community, other organizations, or any other, people that have initiated movements. So, and move, to the outer circle at a country level, at a region level, until you go more global. And partnerships and collaborations are extremely important because it puts the students in direct touch with the reality of the places that they live in, but they also develop a way deeper understanding of whatever issue or need they are tackling, and promotes action. I feel that many times you think like, oh, there was a flood in I don't know where, and we want to send donations. But we forget to look at our backyard, right? And there's always something, there's always going to be a need. Even in the most developed, economically strong countries, there's always needs and issues. And I think it's extremely important that students learn, to see them, to identify them. And this happens with reciprocal collaborations and networking and partnerships. I'll give you a quick example. Sorry, I'm too excited about this. So we have this group of students. They initiated this mango project. And we did it through, a teacher told me from our school. I was walking on the beach and I saw these, I started seeing the turtles, and I thought, like, why is this happening? And I thought that it may be, the mangroves disappeared. I noticed that the area was not, reforested the way it was. So I started searching for groups, and I found Ochiva, which is a local organization. And the goal is to reforest the coastline of Angola. And she comes and tells me, Shei, you need to contact them. I'm like, okay. She told me her whole story. I'm like, okay, I contact them. Got in touch with the leader of the group, Fernanda Rene, who's an amazing, Angolan woman who started this project. Invited her to come to school, chatted with her about it. And I was like, okay, her mission, Chiva's mission and our school mission align perfectly. And this is reforestation. It's a local issue of global importance, right? So I tell her, you need to come and talk to our kids about what you're doing and what is happening here. So she came, shared the story with the students. Bang, the next day, the kids are like, we need to do something about this. So it's been a reciprocal partnership. I mean, this started 2 years ago, where students are learning directly from Fernanda, who is an Angolan national, and she's seen firsthand how the coastline, has been damaged by, new building developments, and she's really trying to reforest and fight this, and she meets with the official governments, and now she has youth involved. So the kids are in direct touch, right, with the issue and with the people who are working to make a difference. So yes, this is key, and to me this piece is very exciting, working for collaborations and partnerships.
Yeah, when you describe these three things that kind of make service learning work, and you talk about addressing the issues that are really important in your local community, but also have that like global connection, and having the opportunity to learn from and with your local community, I feel like those are all layers that are making service learning successful at your school, because you're implementing all of those pieces. Thank you so much for joining us for today's conversation. If you enjoyed this episode, please head over to edurolearning.com to find out about all of the amazing professional learning opportunities that we have for you, including our 3 certificate programs, COTAIL, the Certificate of Educational Technology and Information Literacy, the Coach, and Women Who Lead. We only open registration for each of our global cohorts for each of those programs once a year, and you can find registration dates, program details, pricing, and testimonials from our graduates all at edurolearning.com. If you'd prefer to get started with something right now, we've also got self-paced courses where you can earn recertification credits, private mentoring packages that we can customize just for you, and downloadable workbooks that you can jump into right away. Join our Coach Better Facebook group and connect with us on social media for more great resources at the intersection of technology, coaching, and leadership. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time.